Hello, this is Pet Guy, Man, Mem, whatever you want to call me. And today we are doing the Survival tab tier list. This one's going to be a pretty big one, at least when compared to the other two. So because of that, let's just cut the rubbish and start with the backpack. This is a pretty easy S tier in my opinion. One of the best, gives you more storage, it doesn't really have any drawbacks. You can carry 8 more items, like I said. You don't get any speed decreases. It's still pretty good. It's really good. You're going to want to make this. You're probably going to be using it for a while. Now the piggyback, I'm going to put in A tier, because whilst at the beginning of the game, you're probably not going to be using this because of the speed decrease. If you get your hands on a walking cane, which can basically nullify the speed decrease completely, it's actually kind of worthwhile considering you're still going to be getting a little more speed when holding out the walking cane, and you can carry more stuff. In my opinion, that's still pretty good, at least to me, but I still think most people will find it good. Now the booster shot, I'm going to put it in A. Yeah, I'm going to put it in A. In my opinion, it works really good. If your friend dies and they need more health, just give them one of these. It gives stingers a use. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, not only does it give stingers a use, but it also gives niter a use. It does require some rot, but you can probably just let some cooked juicy berries or just regular juicy berries just rot and then get that pretty quickly. In my opinion, it just because of the sulfact, you can just get rid of some of that niter and stingers that are just laying around your base. In my opinion, it can be pretty worthwhile. Now the rabbit trap, I'm going to put it in B, strictly because it basically you use it strictly to make the Prestidigitator, at least most people do. And because of it giving you access to such powerful items, I feel like I have to give it at least some, just some credit as of what it does. Anyways, next, moving on to the fishing rod, I'm going to put this in B tier above the rabbit trap. I think the fishing rod is good at what it does. You can get fish, which can be used to make fish sticks, which in my opinion is a good healing item. But most of the time I'm just making pierogi. But if I do need to, I can just go make some fish sticks if I need to by going to catch some fish. The fishing rod is pretty cheap, and in my opinion, you can get some use out of it. Definitely worth some time. Now the net. I'm going to put this in A. The net is kind of underrated in my opinion. You can use it to catch bees, you can use it to catch butterflies, to plant more flowers, to replace the flowers that the pro player keeps complaining that you keep picking. Like, seriously, why are you so mad? It was just one single flower. Jesus Christ. Yes, I understand picking an entire valley of flowers being terrible, but Jesus Christ, sir, it was only one. Leave me alone. Get off my back. Anyways, I think it's pretty good. You use it to make bee boxes, like I said, replant lost flowers by planting butterflies. Awesome. Next up, we have the bird trap. I'm going to put this one above the rabbit trap because you can use it to catch a bird, which you'll put in a bird cage, which pretty much means that you basically use it just to make pierogies and stuff like that, maybe bacon and eggs, but it can be used in so many pretty decent... The eggs they can get from the bird cage can be used to make some really good crockpot recipes, and you basically have to use this bird net in order to get one into there. So in my opinion, it gets a B tier at least for that. Now the healing salve, I'm going to put this one in A tier. It's a simple, somewhat cheap healing item, just requires like ash. Healing salve, something else. It's really cheap and gives you quite a bit of health for what it does. It is seriously good, and I'd recommend crafting some if you have to go into a fight sometimes. Thermal stone, I'm going to put this in, actually I'm going to put this at the top of A tier. Because whilst you're not going to be using it a lot, you're probably only going to be using it during like a few seasons, 2, maybe 3 if you count spring. Seriously, it basically does really well. You use it to heat yourself up during winter, maybe spring, and you use it to cool yourself off during summer. It works really well and pretty much keeps you alive during those seasons, if winter gear isn't enough or heat protection gear isn't enough. The umbrella, I'm going to put this one at the bottom of B tier because it can be pretty useful sometimes if you really need to keep out the rain because you're really worried about your sanity. Like if you're already playing someone who struggles with sanity, like Wes or maybe Wormwood. Actually, wait. Yeah, if you're playing someone like those, where basically getting soaking wet can drain your sanity, and you're already somewhat dealing with. Actually, I don't think Wormwood really has to deal sanity that much, since you can just play Planktons. If you're playing someone like Wes, or maybe you're just low on sanity in general, it can help to keep out some of the rain. Other than that, I really just don't see a need for it sometimes. But it can be useful sometimes. Now we have its worst younger cousin, the Pretty Parasol. It's basically well, it's a waste of petals, that's for sure. It essentially keeps out barely any rain and is honestly not worth it. Just go for the regular umbrella when you get the chance, honestly. Now we have the Straw Roll. I'm going to put this one at the bottom of C tier, but I'm going to put it above the Pretty Parasol. It's good for being like a one-time just restoring stuff item, restoring health and sanity item, but that's pretty much all it's good for. It only has one use, and it's kind of just eh. And then we have the Straw Roll, which I'm going to put, not the Straw, the Fur Roll, which I'm going to put just directly above it for the time being. Or who knows, it could stay above it the entire time, I don't really know. But it's basically just a multi-use version of the Straw Roll, which I already really don't use these sleeping items at all, so I really don't find a use for this. Even if it does get more uses, which in my opinion just puts it up. And if you can get a Moneyman farm going, you can farm fur rolls to make a lot of these. Other than that, it's just kind of okay. Now we have the tent and the Siesta Lean-To. I'm going to put these two pretty much down here because I think they're kind of useless. They're kind of just a waste of materials. You could just use the fur roll or the straw roll to pretty much just do what they do better, since you don't have to just walk back to where you placed it to replenish those things. So yeah, the tent and Siesta Lean-To kind of just useless in my opinion. Maybe the Siesta Lean-To could be useful during summer, and just simply because of that, I'll just put it above the tent there. Other than that, they're kind of just a waste. Now we have the Honey Poultice. I'm going to put this directly above the Healing Salve. In my opinion, this is honestly really good. It's just better. It just costs a bit of honey, and you get really, really good healing from it. Like, we're talking some serious healing. And honestly, it's really, really good, actually. Like, seriously, make some of these if you get the chance. Don't have the ability to make healing salves? Make some honey poultices. Don't have the ability to make honey poultices? Make healing salves. Just make one or the other. They're actually criminally underrated. Why don't I see that many people using these? Next, we have the Compass. I literally don't see a use for this. It's pretty much just useless. Like, I've literally never needed just like a thing where I'm like, okay, what direction am I going? If I'm just trying to find something, I'll just look at the map. Bad Compass. Bad. You bad Compass. Next, we have the Bundling Wrap. Holy crap, I am putting this in S tier. It is super good. It prevents stuff from spoiling. It allows you to keep stuff more compact in your inventory. The only real issue with it that I see is that you have to kill Bee Queen for it. I mean, in single player Don't Starve, you just have to kill a crap ton of bees, which is actually kind of easy. But in Don't Starve Together, you have to kill Bee Queen. In my opinion, just get some Moneyman hatches going up and just essentially use them to just destroy Bee Queen. Just eventually you'll get this. It's kind of worth it, but there is something later on the list that is basically this, but better, and we will be getting to that soon. Next up, we have the Flare. Again, at least this one kind of has some use, but I still think it's god-awful. Generally, if there's a player that wants to go know my location, we'll generally just meet up at like the Florid Postard or someplace where we both know where it's at. Generally, I just find this to be a waste, considering it's one-time use. It's kind of just not good. It just shows people where it is. I don't really find a use for this. I might make one if I have leftover resources, but probably just... I don't really. Next up, we have the Telltale Heart. I'm going to be putting this one up here. Because, I mean, you use it to resurrect your friends, use that with some booster shots to get your health back up, and you're pretty much good to go. You can resurrect your friend, maybe get some booster shots for them, get their health back up. Honestly, super good item, useful for resurrecting your friends. Awesome, love it, real great. Next up we have this thing right here, the portable fridge. I'm gonna put this one here. Considering it's basically just like Warley's portable chef's pouch, which in my opinion is generally enough, because I generally don't find myself needing 8 slots specifically to keep food from spoiling as fast. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Next up we have the water balloon. I really don't see a use for this aside from pretty much just trying to keep someone's wetness up. I mean, you could probably just throw it on something to increase its wetness, but generally I just don't really find a need for it. Generally, the thing I want, I'll probably just wait for it to be already wet, or I'll just find something else that'll make it wet. Next up, we have this. What the hell does this thing do again? Give me a second. Okay, so it cools off your player and puts down fires. I've seen worse. Honestly, just cooling down my player. I mean, you probably think of better ways to do that than to wave a giant feather around in the air like a helicopter. And as for putting out fires, I mean, you can probably just use something else. You could use that water balloon, but the water balloon is lower. Or you could just put it out before the fire spreads. Or you could ensure that it just doesn't catch on fire by placing like a fling-o-matic or something. Next up, we have the seed packet. Holy crap, no. It's a backpack specifically for seed items. What's the point? What's the point? Why would you need this? Why would you need this? It's just a backpack for seed-based items. Why? Why would you use this? I don't see a need for this. Oh dear, my goodness. Oh lordy, why? Next up, we have the sea fishing rod. It's basically a worse. It could be better. It could be worse than the regular fishing rod. I don't really know. I mean, it's basically like I already just get the amount of use I really need out of the regular fishing rod, since I generally tend to not go out into the. I generally tend to not go out into the ocean, is what I'm trying to say. So I'll pretty much probably get more use out of the regular fishing rod. But if I ever do decide to go out into the ocean, I might make one of these and use it. But don't really count on it. Tillweed salve, I've seen worse. It's basically a not that great healing item. It heals like 28 HP if I remember correctly. And you have to get tillweeds to specifically make it. Considering you already have to kind of get lucky with specific weeds in order to get this. And considering it's not all that remarkable to begin with, I just don't see a need for it really. Windy Fan. Honestly, this thing is actually kind of underrated in my opinion. It's really good for summer. It helps you cool off during summer. Considering it's cheap, it's really good. I'd recommend crafting one and just running around with it during summer if you have the ability to cool yourself off. Where have I seen this before? It's like a backpack, but strictly for candy and trinkets and stuff during Hollowed Nights. Outside of Hollowed Nights, this thing is useless. I mean, I guess it can hold trinkets for you, but really? Would you really use this? Do you honestly see yourself using this outside of the novelty of using it on Hollowed Nights? No, I don't think so. Now, do you remember how earlier I said there was basically just that there would be something that's better than the bundling wrap that's just completely outclasses it in every way? Well, have we found that? Seriously, holy crap, the gift wrap is so good. You might have to wait for Winter's Feast to come, or you can just, in your world settings, set it to Winter's Feast, and then you can craft it. And it's basically you can make this on day one. It's a day one bundling wrap. And you can make it right away. You don't have to wait to kill Bee Queen. You can just start using it right away. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. And this is why I, most of the time on console, or just in general, not on console, just in general, I generally tend to have my world set to Winter's Feast, specifically so I can just have this just right off the bat. I seriously, it's so good. So good. And I can't, and I just, whenever Winter's Feast just rolls around in general, I just love seeing these just in regular servers. People love these. I love these. Everyone loves these. We all love these. We love gift wraps. You love gift wraps. I love gift wraps. We all love gift wraps. Next up, we have Walter's tent thing. I've seen worse. It's basically just a, again, I really don't see a need for using any of these tent items, but this one's probably the best. The only issue that keeps it from being higher is that it's strictly for Walter, and it has 10 uses, which is the highest one. And once again, it can be taken anywhere, but once again, ow. How, I don't ask how this happens, but the chair, the chair fell on my leg. I was just sitting here on the ground here trying to make this, and the chair fell on my leg. Ow, ow, ow. Anyways, we have one more item left. Bernie, I'm going to put this one at the sort of, I'm going to put this here. Bernie is actually really good. It keeps nightmare creatures away. And my god, Giant Bernie is so freaking cool. Seriously, he does a really good job at keeping shadow creatures away, and honestly, just because of that, I think he's super good. While you're insane, he can help you out with these sort of things. He's really cool. I love Bernie. I love Bernie. Bernie, you're so freaking cute. I want my own Bernie. Anyways, that is basically it for the tier list. Anyways, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.